Five.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to dive right into it because what we have today is we're going to be exploring how you can find these NFT projects early. Because I'll be honest with you, being early to the game in NFTs is going to be a major difference maker. It's not going to be the end all be all, and you can always recover or get into a project later and still make great returns. But being early puts you at a major advantage. It also allows you to get some quick flips in if you get into the right projects. So that's what we're going to be covering. We're going to talk a little bit about where you can go to find these projects ahead of time and where you can go to look into these projects further, to study them and how to even get these NFTs before the public. So if we can switch over to my screen sharing, please. There we go. So what we're looking at first is called Rarity Tools. So this is a great website, whether you're looking for new projects or if you're already in a project and you want to see how rare the particular NFT is that you got. Now, keep in mind, not every project is going to be on here. And these are primarily for just Ethereum based projects. And even then, not all of those Ethereum based projects are going to be listed on this website. It is somewhat a good sign if you can find projects that do partner up with Rarity Tools and get listed on here, and they're typically going to be for those 10,000 units or 5,000 units profile picture NFTs that are all in one collection. So they're not really highly art based or one of one projects that are going to be on this particular site, but this is definitely one that you should be looking at if you are interested in those profile picture type projects that we see a lot of nowadays. So once you're on this site, if you're already in a project, you can simply come here and you can find your project, right? You can find it listed here if it's one of those top, if it's one of those top ones, but you can also just search for your project. So this is a pretty big project that just released a few days ago, Mechaverse, right? So if you are in this project, you can come to this site and you can find how rare your particular NFT is. So first, let's head over to OpenSea and type in Mechaverse. So we come here, we see the floor price to Ethereum. But let's say we own this particular NFT, right? So this is the one that we own. We're pretending here. So this is the token ID. This is the version that you got. So out of 10,000 or however many there are, you got the 6,117th one. So what you would look up on Rarity Tools is you would come here, look up the ID. I think it was 6,117. Hit look up. And now we find how rare this particular NFT is, right? And you can see all this stuff on the side here. I'll be honest with you, I don't really pay attention to this. I find it's just a whole lot of busy work. Most people aren't going to. What they're really looking for is the rarity rank, not the rarity score, but the rarity rank. So out of however many are in this project, I think it's a little bit less than 10,000, but out of however many are in here, this one ranks about 2,000 in rarity. So out of all of them, about 2,000. So it's not particularly rare, but it's a hell of a lot more rare than the very last one, right? So that's how you use it if you're already in a project and you want to find out how rare your particular NFT is. Now, how do you find upcoming projects before they release? All you need to do is click on upcoming right here on the top. Click on upcoming and you're going to see a list of all these projects that are coming out in the next few weeks. So Toxic Lake Monster Club, great. But you can just scroll through here and you can find something that catches your eye. You'll notice that they also show yesterday's and today's, so some of these might be a little bit late, but for the most part, you're going to be able to find projects here that are just about to release. So now we're into tomorrow. And what I like to do is I'll just scroll through here and I'll just look for something that visually catches my eye. Now, granted, that's not all you should be looking for in an NFT project, but that's one of those first filters that I look for because I want to see, was there a lot of effort that went into this art? Now, as we can see in a whole bunch of projects nowadays, that doesn't always matter. But for me, that's what I'm typically looking for because I want to buy into something where if it goes to zero, at least I have something nice to look at. So this one kind of catches my eye. So if I like this one, what I would do would be I would open up their Discord. You always have to be checking their Discord and their Twitter because Discord and Twitter, like I said before, that's where NFTs live and breathe. So make sure you are analyzing their Twitter presence and their Discord presence. Instagram, some of them might be on there, most of them are not going to be on there, and it's truthfully not that important. But you definitely want to check those. And what you're looking for is engagement from the audience, engagement, interest, passion, and how many people are really there long term. Because there's always going to be those projects that launch and have a whole bunch of hype around them just so that people can easily flip it as soon as the secondary market comes into play. But you can scroll through here, just find something that you like, and then look more into it using their Discord link, their Twitter link, and of course their website link, because you do want to be analyzing the roadmap and who's the team behind it, all that good stuff. So that's rarity.tools. Go there and make sure you just take a screenshot of this page so that you know where you are supposed to be looking. Now there's a couple other websites. NFTcalendar.io. This is another one. Very similar situation as Rarity Tools, although they don't have rankings. So this is primarily just literally an NFT calendar so that you get an idea of what is coming up. So you can see what's going on today. You can see what's upcoming. And you just scroll through here and very much the same process as on Rarity Tools. Find something that you like, look more into it, study it, see if the founders are able to be identified, because a lot of people like to hide behind their digital identity, which in some cases is okay, but more and more I'm looking for founders behind projects who are willing to connect their name and face to that particular project. So this is NFT Calendar. Now we have nftcatcher.io. And before you see this menu that I see here, you do need to make sure that you sign up. So there will be a button up here that allows you to sign up, and it's completely free. But you come through here after you sign up, and again, very much the same thing as the last two sites. You scroll through and you find projects that are catching your eye, and then you look more into them. So keep in mind, each of these websites are likely going to have different projects. So just come through here and find something that is catching your attention, and then explore it further. Now, aside from these three websites, the other place that you're going to find NFT drops early is going to be Twitter and Discord. We're going to keep coming back to these two platforms. So on Twitter, what I recommend you do first, if you don't have one, you need to go make one. Like, even if you hate the platform, just go make one, use it for NFT only. Okay, it's going to be worth it. So what you want to do is type in the Twitter search bar and just type in hashtag NFTs. You can then follow that hashtag and see that type of content in your feed. But I compiled a list of a few people who I primarily go to for consuming NFT content. Now there's dozens. Don't get me wrong. And as you start exploring the space, you're going to organically come across a whole host of different profiles that are appealing to you and give you the right information. But these are just a few that I recommend you screenshot here, take a picture of using your phone, and go and follow these people because they give a whole lot of good information regarding NFTs. OpenSea, not so much, but that is one of the biggest NFT platforms that you're going to be using once you get into the space. Come through here, follow these individuals, and they'll put you on to a whole lot of other people that you can start following and paying close attention to make sure you are up to date in the entire NFT space. Now, Discord is going to be the other place. I will tell you now, if you aren't already familiar with Discord, which most of you should be because you're in IWS, but if IWS was the first or only Discord server that you are in, you might get overwhelmed with the amount of servers that you're going to be joining. So on the left-hand side here, all of these are different servers within Discord, right? And I believe the default maximum number is 100 servers. I'm often hitting that threshold, right? And it doesn't mean I'm literally involved in 100 projects, but it means I'm investigating 100 different projects at times. Doesn't mean you're going to be spending all your time in these different Discords because it's just impossible. What I recommend is once you start getting into these different projects, focus on 2 or at most 3 different Discord servers at any given time. If you start going above and beyond that, you're going to get overwhelmed and it's likely to come crashing down on you. So I recommend having your focus dialed in. And all this is going to make sense as I get to the second portion where I talk about getting these NFT projects early. But you want to also be able to use Discord to find these projects early in the first place before you're able to buy into them. So the Llama Pass, you can search them up on YouTube or even on Twitter. Definitely check out their Twitter. Llama Pass is this exclusive club where you have to buy an NFT to get in here. And I've been in here for a few weeks and it's incredible. So what they do is they give a whole lot of information on these upcoming projects. and it's not just spam. You're going to get a lot of spam when you start getting into NFTs on all these Discord groups, but make sure that you check out the Llama Pass Discord, and you can actually get a free trial in it. So just look them up on Twitter, find access into here, and you can come and look through these projects. So they actually have a channel within their Discord dedicated to showcasing these free NFTs that are just being given out. All you got to do is pay the gas fee, right? So you can scroll through here and find all these different projects that are coming out totally for free. And so if you don't have a lot of capital to get started, this is a perfect opportunity. And not just this Discord, right? There's plenty of other servers that will give you this heads up on these different projects, but it's your responsibility to go out on Twitter and find them. Go into other Discord servers and find new Discord servers and join those and find where you are getting the most value. For me, Llama Pass has been one of those servers. So I highly encourage you to check this out and come in here and find all this free stuff that they are just telling you. They're giving you this heads up, and they'll also, let me see if I can find it. They also give you a heads up about getting whitelisted. So for those who don't know what whitelisting is, it's basically you get put in a separate pile of people who are going to get early access before the public sale of an NFT launch. We'll talk a little bit more about whitelisting in a few moments, but you can come into this channel and you can find all these projects that give you an opportunity to get on a whitelist and get to these projects before everyone else, which is, again, a major leg up in the world of NFTs. So Discord and Twitter, also places you want to find early access to these projects. Now, once you have found these projects early, you'll want to get whitelisted or even get yourself a free NFT. Now, this is a whole lot easier said than done. And what a lot of people do, a lot of projects will actually incentivize engagement and activity within their Discord servers. And those people who are the most engaged, most active, will end up getting free NFTs or at least get whitelisted to get that pre-public sale access. Now, you run into a problem because some people are going to use bots to just spam that Discord channel and pretend to be active. Oftentimes, those projects are going to call those individuals out and kick them out of the server so that they are rewarded for using bots and cheating. But if you are going to be doing all this work manually, it can be pretty tiring because you have to be very, very engaged. Like you might have to spend a few hours of a day just being active in this Discord, talking to different people, engaging and creating conversation around that particular project. But once you get noticed, you're going to be in a good spot. However, the way that I prefer to get whitelisted or get a free NFT is focusing more on the quality of my engagement or my work within that community rather than the quantity. So here's what I mean. We're going to skip down here. I like to contribute creativity to the community, especially marketing material, because in the NFT space, marketing is going to be paramount, right? So you can have this great project, but you need to know how to market it. That's going to be the difference maker with your NFT project. And so what I like to do is help them in that process by giving them some fun marketing material. It doesn't have to be these huge campaigns or anything. It's very, very simple. And I'll show you what I mean. So some ideas that I have used to get free NFTs or get whitelisted for projects are creating a Time magazine cover. Here's an example. So the Jungle Freaks, right? Unfortunately, they sold out before I was able to get one, so this one did not pan out for me. But I did do this same concept for another project, and I did get a free NFT for it. But I created a Time cover magazine. So I have this in my Photoshop program where I can come in here and create this totally customized design, right? I create this Time cover magazine. I even have a 3D model version of it too, so it looks like it's on a physical magazine. And I'll send that to the admins or the owner or the marketing people within that Discord and see how things play out. Sometimes they'll be like, hey, this is really cool, thanks so much, and then it's done. Other times they'll be like, hey, you just earned yourself a spot on the whitelist, right? Another thing I've done is I created a Marvel movie introduction for another project, and that one also got me a free NFT, right? So you think of the comic style Marvel intro, right? And you can go look this up on YouTube. But I just created a version of that for a particular project, and they loved it. They went nuts. They started sharing it on Twitter and everything, and that got me a free NFT. Something else that I haven't done, but I have seen other people do, is create songs about a project. That is very, very unique. It's a very good sign when a project can showcase, hey, our members are actually making songs about our project. That's something very, very powerful, and I think will put you in a good position to get whitelisted or to just get a free NFT. So that's something you should absolutely consider. Just focus on the creativity that you're going to contribute to that community rather than just being active. You need to be active as well, but you don't have to put in as much grind and work and spending these hours just sending messages back and forth on Discord to rank up in that server and get one of those spots. Now, another way that you can be getting whitelisted for a project is just being super early. Sometimes projects will say, okay, if you're in the first 500 or the first 1,000 people to join this Discord server, boom, you're going to get whitelisted and you will make sure you'll secure your spot for getting one of those NFTs. Now, I want to rewind a little bit and talk about why whitelisting matters. So we already covered, yes, you get early access before other people, which is a huge leg up because you can easily flip that before everybody else is clamoring for them. But another factor is avoiding a gas war. So if you aren't familiar with gas wars, on the Ethereum blockchain, when you're trying to buy and sell NFTs, make these digital transactions, you're going to be charged a gas fee. It's basically just the processing fee for utilizing the Ethereum network. Now, these fees can range very, very widely. You might pay $20 one day and you might pay $200 the next hour. So there's a wide array. And the thing that varies is how heavily used that particular blockchain is at the moment. How many people are actually trying to submit transactions on Ethereum at a given time is going to determine how high that fee is. Now, if you're getting into a project with a whole lot of people, thousands of people trying to get in, you're going to encounter a gas war. And a gas war is basically just when the only people who are going to successfully complete those transactions are the people who are willing to pay the highest fee in gas. So you can set your own gas fee, right? And it will rank you in priority based on how much you're willing to pay. So if these whales, these people have a whole lot of money, are trying to get into this project, they can just set their gas fee to be $1,000, $2,000 just to get a $150 NFT. And that's going to price a whole lot of people out who only have maybe $200, $50 for the gas fee and $150 for that particular NFT. And they might submit that transaction and it fails because there's so many others who want to pay a lot more in the gas fee. So getting whitelisted can help you avoid those gas wars because you're in a small public or small private sale instead of the big massive public sale for everybody else. So keep that in mind. That's why it's important. And as I mentioned before, another way is just being one of the most engaged and helpful community members in the Discord. A lot of people get tripped up on this and they think, okay, what am I supposed to talk about? What I like to do is I like to bring questions into the chat. I like to ask people and bring answers out of them that I can then respond to. So I ask, hey, what drew everyone's attention to this particular project? A whole bunch of people answer. I respond to all of them. I start looking more engaged. I start looking like a conversation starter. Those are all good things. Something else is I'll ask, hey, how many NFTs do you have? What's been your favorite project so far? Have you ever been rug pulled by a project? How many losses have you taken? So I just start asking these questions to get people's opinions and thoughts, and then I can respond to those. So you don't always have to be doing all this heavy lifting. There's always going to be giveaways and challenges, oftentimes on Twitter. So if you retweet something, you might get a chance to win one of those NFTs. But pay attention to the challenges. Sometimes those challenges will be in Discord and it will be as simple as you have to click a button, a reaction button on a post in order to enter that giveaway. But those are happening all the time and can give you free NFTs or get you whitelisted. So now that we've covered a little bit about, and by the way, y'all, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. So now that we have looked at how you can get into these projects early, how to find them and get into them early, we have to consider how we're going to judge these projects because there's no shortage of projects. Literally, they're coming out every single hour of the day. So it's very hard to keep up with them. And not every project is going to be worthwhile to get in, even if it is something that's just a free mint, where they're giving those NFTs away for free and all you have to pay is the gas fee, right? So you have to learn to have some type of discernment when you're looking at these projects. So one thing that I like to look for is their team doxxed? When I say the word doxxed, it just means, is their team willing to connect their name and face to the project? Are they hiding behind an identity, or are they doxxed and we know who these people actually are? So that's what that means. What I want to look for is their team open with who they actually are, or do they hide behind that identity? Now, like I mentioned earlier, it's not always going to be a deal breaker. Sometimes A project's team will be completely anonymous. We know them only by their usernames on these different social platforms. We don't actually know who they are. Now, what that puts you at risk for is getting rug pulled, right? And rug pull is basically where a project creates this nice website. They create all this marketing content and they get all this hype going. They get thousands of people to buy into the project. They make their millions, and then they essentially pull the rug from out under you and they abandon the project. So they may have this nice elaborate roadmap on what they're going to do with the project, but as soon as that public sale is over and they've made their millions, they abandon the project. They shut down their Discord, they close their Twitter, they start blocking people, and they go ghost. They made their millions and then they leave the project and go about their way. That is a rug pull, and it does happen fairly often in this space. So you need to be looking for signs that that might happen. Now, one of the best things that I've found to mitigate that risk is seeing if the team is actually open with who they are. Because when someone is going to connect their name and face to a project, it builds a whole lot of confidence in me to believe that they're not going to hide if they pull the rug out from under us once everyone buys into the project. So that's a good sign. Not a deal breaker, but increasingly, I'm starting to value that a whole lot more. Before, when I was first getting into it, I kind of was indifferent, but as the day goes by, I just don't see the need to remain anonymous. Like, if you're serious about your NFT project, why are you hiding behind this fake name? Why not connect your name and face to it so that we build that confidence with your community, right? Another thing you want to look for is, do they have some type of record? This is it's a hard one, much like looking for if the team is doxxed, but I do like to see, does this person have any background in blockchain? Do they have someone with a background in marketing? Do they have someone who has a background in coding? I want to see if this team is made up of people who know what the hell they're doing. Because anybody can make these NFT projects, but I want to have confidence that it's going to be seen all the way through. I want to be able to look at a project's roadmap and see if they're actually going to execute on the things that they say they will, to see if they can execute on the things that they said they will. Something else that I look for is their roadmap actionable, well defined, exciting, and actually adding value to their community. I think I showed y'all this project once before, but I'm going to pull it up again. Visitors of Imadegen, right? So I'm going to go to their website. And right out of the bat, I'm already impressed by the artwork, right? So this project, every NFT that they have comes with a 3D model that you can use in animations just like this, or even in virtual games like Somnium Space and even Grand Theft Auto. So what I'll do is I'll come down to the roadmap and I'll see, okay, what's going on here, right? So I see this is how many they're going to first start with. They're going to purchase some land inside of that virtual world Somnium Space. Great. Okay, so they have their 3D avatars now. So they executed on that. Storytelling and art competitions, free win Lambo. So that's their like second NFT within this world. So they met the rest of the project. So phase two, they start getting gear inside of the metaverses that they're in. They have a liquidity pool so that you can stake your NFT and earn from that. They have rigged avatar. They have 3D avatars for their second NFT within this world. They have mainstream gaming skins and integration. They already are executing on that. Like I said, they can play with your NFT inside of Grand Theft Auto. They have a Vox model for, I believe, Vox model is for a different virtual world. I believe particularly crypto voxels and Decentraland, but those are just more usable 3D models. And then they have Voids 2.0. I'm not familiar with what that is exactly, but one thing that I noticed is that the project has already started executing on a lot of these. Now, when I look at this is actually a really interesting roadmap from my perspective. We have metaverse integration, right? They actually want to be present in these spaces, in these 3D spaces, and they went through the trouble of creating 10,000. Matter of fact, they're going to make 20,000, right? Because they're doing it for their second project as well. They're making 20,000 individual 3D avatars for all of their holders to utilize. That's major, and that's not something I've ever seen another NFT project do. That excites me. And you can also use these 3D avatars with your Snapchat filters, right? So you can actually embody your NFT. That's something above and beyond. And I think this project is very early. So this is just an interesting roadmap to me. On the other hand, I forget what project I was just looking at yesterday, but there are some projects where their primary value add or utility showcased on the roadmap is just merchandise. They'll say, okay, at 25% completed the roadmap, we're going to open up a merch store, right? So we'll have branded merchandise and cool, but super, super basic. But as I went through their entire roadmap, I would see in each phase, it would be something to do with clothes. Like there was a couple other things, sure, they might add their token or whatever, but the primary value add was just giving away clothes or raffling off clothes, right? Or making a donation. Those are all super, super basic things within a roadmap. And I was turned off by that because it was just a really dull thing. It wasn't anything unique or special about the roadmap. And so I immediately just closed that page and moved on. But this one, this is interesting. So you want to find things that are actually interesting in the roadmap. Now, again, that's going to come with experience. But you might find this project and be like, oh, wow, this is cool. I've never seen any project do this, but you might not have looked at any other projects, right? So take your time in learning this, compare and contrast these different roadmaps. Talked about the roadmap. Is it a priority for them to take care of their community and not just build one, right? So everybody's stressing NFT communities in this space, right? So we all know that it's super, super important to have a strong community, but some projects are only focused on having that community in existence. You know, they want to have the biggest Discord, they want to have the most active, but there's very few projects whose priority is to really put their holders, their NFT holders on, right? So there's some projects where like, hey, we want y'all to make a whole lot of money. And this is something that ties back to free mint projects. When I see a free mint project where they actually give their NFTs away for free, think CryptoPunks, right? When they give those NFTs away for free, what that means is that team behind the project isn't actually making any money, at least at first. So they have to wait for those secondary transactions on OpenSea to start making some profit. And what that signifies in my eyes is that that project team is actually there for the long run. They know that in order for them to have money and for it to be sustainable, they have to make a community that is making a whole lot of money as well. So I want to be looking for communities where they really try to put their people on. IWS is one of those communities, right? He's created this to put us on, to make sure that we were taken care of so that we were able to go out and do for self. Much like Llama Pass, right? So this person behind this project, who's Docs, when we see his face, he's doing these streams almost every night. So with this particular project, this exclusive community, I mean, we really are getting put on. Like he's giving us so much value. He's going out of pocket to pay for these partnerships and bring us tools and resources to be using in the NFT space. That's what you want to look for. You want to look and find those projects who really want to put their people on. Let's look at CyberConks for a moment. Right now, they've been in the news for bringing their people passive income, right? So what they did is they created their own cryptocurrency that's linked to their NFT world, right? So you can earn this cryptocurrency that they created. I think it's called Bananas, just for holding on to your NFT. And let me see here how much they're actually getting paid per day. So 10 free banana tokens per day make about $640 a day. Now, granted, take this with a grain of salt because the actual price of their banana token, their cryptocurrency, is going to vary and it's going to change depending on how well that project's doing. But at the current rate of this article, at least, they're making $4,000, over $4,000 a week. That's real money, right? So you get it in your cryptocurrency, and then you can do things with it like upgrade your NFT or buy another NFT. But you can also cash that out. You can also convert that over into US dollars and put that in your pocket. So this is a community that really captured my attention. Now, again, take that with a grain of salt because there are regulatory concerns regarding this type of structure of giving out these rewards because the US government is kind of taking it as a security. I'm not going to get into details, mostly because I don't know the details, but I know that legally this is starting to become a gray area with some projects. So you want to look for projects that are aware of this and are working with their teams to remedy that or work around it. But regardless, this is one way. There's a whole lot of ways, but this is one way that they're trying to put their people on. The people who supported their project, they want to make sure they're making a whole lot of money as well. That's what you want to look for. Anybody can talk about building this grand community, but who is really putting their community on? That's what you want to look for. When you find that in a project, hold on to it. Next up is utility, right? Because you can go for the art-based NFTs, where it's just purely art, and that's fine. You can still make a whole lot of money. There's photographs. I think that might be something to start paying attention to in the NFT space, by the way, in the next few months. I think photographs are probably going to do pretty well, but they haven't caught on a whole lot of hype just yet because we're so focused on these profile pictures. But you can go buy a photograph. You can go buy a digital painting, which some are selling for millions, right? But those are just the artwork, and that's fine. Maybe you're collecting fine art. Cool. But I think nowadays what people are mostly looking for is utility with their NFT project. Does this NFT actually do something? Or is it just cool to have? And so when you can find a project like this, for example, going back to Llama Pass, once I buy that NFT, I get full access to this entire Discord. I get access to a whole lot of other stuff. I get access to NFT calls. I even get access to royalties and giveaways in the future, all types of utility packed into this, right? With Kongs, and by the way, I don't have one of these. With Kongs, you get these banana rewards that you can cash out in, right? And I believe there's some other utilities embedded in there. With this project, the Voids, right? You can use your NFT in these virtual worlds. You can go play Grand Theft Auto. In fact, they actually are working on a shooter game where you can earn, where it's going to be play to earn, where you can earn some cryptocurrency just for playing the game and playing well, right? So that is another example of utility. You have the 3D worlds. You get full commercial rights, full intellectual property over the NFT that you purchase. So you can go and brand this and create an entire company or a brand around your particular NFT, and you can monetize that just like Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? The utility in that is you get access to exclusive in-person and online meetups, and you have the intellectual property for that. So some people have gone on to create wine brands where each flavor is one of their different Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. So you want to be looking for projects that have some utility, that can actually do something. And granted, I don't want to get too caught up on having intellectual property rights. That's not a huge case of utility, but as that project grows in prominence, that becomes a whole lot more important. But this one, I just see a whole lot of utility, right? I mean, you can use these in videos. So down the line, people have talked about, hey, wonder if we can get these into music videos, right? Or movies or animated movies, right? So there's a whole lot of utility with this project, but that's what you want to be looking for. Is it just nice to look at, or can you do something with it? Again, sometimes it is okay to just get an NFT because it's nice to look at. But if you're looking to flip NFTs, to really get into it and make some big returns, I would focus on finding some utility. And then finally, are they unique? And keep in mind, most of what I'm going over right now is primarily for these new projects. So a project that you might find on something like Rarity Tools, okay? You want to ask yourself, is this a unique project? Because I mean, there's tons of them. Let's scroll through here and find some that are like this right here. I don't think this is very, very unique whatsoever. Let's explore it a little bit. Website already kind of a turnoff. Let's read through this real quick. So 5,000. Who's the rarest? So that's the whitelist that I was telling you about. Invite only. So they're gonna drop 1,000 every 12 hours. Boom, right there. See, they're all the way halfway through their roadmap, and it looks like they're just having merchandise, right? Not very different, not very special. So far, all this has just been about the actual release of the NFTs, and then we have merchandise. Cool. Let's keep going. Special editions with our friends. So they're going to start doing collabs with maybe influencers or other projects. Again, not very special. Edibles, what happens when a bunny eats batteries? I'm assuming that might be like a secondary NFT project within this world. So, yeah, I'm not too sure what that is. Maybe they explain it more in their Discord. Specials, limited run. So, these two right here are essentially the same damn thing. The rare bunny and collabs, they're making these one of ones, I'm assuming, and they're just going to be more rare and probably start out at higher prices. Main drop, community vote. Yeah, I this has not told me very much about the project at all. It does not say, okay, look, yes, we love profile picture projects. PFP is profile picture, by the way. Minimalism style and expensive characters are what inspired us to design the Red Bunny Club. You can see each Red Bunny with a profile picture to fit well. Yeah, this does not seem very unique. I have decent price. Um, that's okay. But yeah, like this project, there's nothing really special about it. But when you come onto this website, you're immediately, I mean, personally, I'm in awe because these are all NFTs that we see in this animation here. This is unique. This is different. This is something where they put a hell of a lot of effort in. Whereas this, there's not too much. And granted, there's plenty of projects that look just like this that are doing super well, like the cool cats. But what I just said, there's plenty of projects that look just like this. And that's kind of not something that you want to be pursuing. But I mean, there is something to learn from this format if it's working well. But again, I would stay away from this because it's just so basic. There's nothing unique about it. Let's keep looking. Eh, this I really do not care for. Don't care for this. Y'all get my point. Y'all get my point. There's a whole lot of projects that are really just copy and pasting from other projects, changing the name, maybe get some merchandise thrown in there, doing some special marketing. But there's a whole lot of copy and paste. So you want to find something that's truly unique. I'll give you another example. Alex Becker gave me a damn brain aneurysm trying to figure out this project, right? So he launched Neo Tokyo. I can't tell you how sad I am. I'm not in this, but there's still opportunity to get in. But anyways, so what he did, him and his online buddy, Elio Trades, right? They created this project where you have to solve these riddles in order to get in to even get access to buy the NFT, right? So it wasn't about money. It wasn't about who had the most suspending gas fees. It was who was going to be fastest, who was going to be clever, and who was just going to be lucky. Because sometimes people were clever and they were fast, but they weren't lucky enough to get chosen. So if y'all have ever seen Ready Player One, where inside the game they had to go through this series of challenges and riddles in order to find the key to the game at the very end, right? It was kind of like this. I felt like I was in Ready Player One trying to get into this world, and I failed. But like I said, there's still opportunity to get in, but it is just a huge headache. So him and Elio Trades, they just left hints between their Twitters and between their YouTube channels, and we literally had to comb through all of this. So whole discords were created with thousands of people just to figure out the clues that they were leaving behind. And like I'll tell you, we were looking up Fibonacci sequences, supreme mathematics. It was ridiculous. We were going deep into trying to figure this stuff out. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of pain and a lot of long hours. But it created this intensely passionate community and this community who was terrified of missing out. Some high level FOMO. I felt it myself. But this was so unique. I'd never seen something like this. Sure, there's some projects out there that might have some riddles or challenges to get free NFTs, but this to get in was totally based on who was going to be the smartest. And it was a free mint. They didn't charge for their NFTs. All you had to do was put in the time, effort, and be clever enough to figure out um, what was going on, where you needed to go, what websites, all that good stuff. This is a very unique project, and the floor price for it is astronomical. Let's take a look. You can imagine. I mean, spending literally weeks. You spend weeks figuring this stuff out. You're not going to want to sell it for 0.25, zero point 0.5 ETH. So the floor price, it was up to 10 a little bit ago, but The floor price is 7 out of the gate. And look at the ratio of how many people are actually holding on to their NFT compared to how many are actually in existence. These are great signs for a project. So I bring that to your attention just to give you something to compare these projects you're going to start looking at. Find something that's unique. Find something that does something different. All right. So that's for new projects. Okay. Let's talk about finding a project that's already been established. Okay, so maybe they've been in existence for a few weeks, they've already sold out on public sale, and they're only available on OpenSea. So here's some things you want to look at. One is chart analysis. Now, there's not too many people who are going to be talking about this, but I think it does give you a pretty big advantage. So let me look up CryptoSlam. CryptoSlam is one of these platforms where you can come and look up projects and see what their charts actually look like. The volume of sales and the price of those sales. I'm gonna look for one project called Robotos. Okay, it's not showing up, but I know it's on here. Okay, here we go. So on Robotos, we can click on this chart. So this is going to give me the sales volume data. Okay. So this is the launch of the project. So at launch, the price skyrockets as everyone's trying to make their quick flips. And then all those quick flippers sell off, and then the volume gets kind of just sad and accumulates down here, right? This is a period of consolidation or accumulation. So this lasted for a few weeks, damn near a month. So for this time period, the project really wasn't looking too hot, right? And then it had this little pump. And that pump might have been instigated by some news. Maybe they released a new portion of their roadmap, but it had a little pump. And then what happens here is all these people who were in here and they felt like they lost, they're like, okay, let me sell real quick. So they sold off. That's why it dipped back down. Same thing happened again. This doesn't always happen twice, but in this case it did. So we see another period of accumulation, right? Just for a few days. Then we see another pump. Again, this might have been caused by some type of news. So we see this pump, and then we see this crash down because all these people back here, they were scared. They thought they lost, and they see this opportunity to get out. They're going to take it. So that's why it goes right back down. Then, as other people start seeing, okay, we had these volume spikes. What's going on with this project? Other people start paying attention. They get FOMO, and that's what causes this massive spike right here. So we start seeing a whole lot of buying in these accumulation zones, right? And this is also an opportunity for you to be buying. When people are scared, they're selling below the floor price. That's also a time for you to be getting in. So we see this pump here, again, the crash down, accumulation, and then right here. So essentially what you want to be looking for in these charts, if you can find them. It's not always going to be easy, but CryptoSlam is a great resource for you to come and look at these charts of projects that you might want to get into. So we see this here that it starts going up, and you don't want to necessarily buy down here, but you want to buy once it starts crossing the previous all-time high right here, right? The one from the most previous pump. So once it crosses this threshold, you might want to buy in right here. I know it's kind of switching around, but let me see if I can zoom in here. Okay, there we go. So right around this line here where it says 2 million, right? So that might be a good point for you to buy into this project and then ride it up here. Now, I'm not going to be able to tell you when this is going to start crashing down, but you should have predefined targets that you want in here. But this is just something that not a lot of people have in their tool belts. Not a lot of people know that they can come look at these NFT charts and see volume visually. So that's what you want to be looking for. You find these pumps, you see that dump as these scared people get out, and then a period of accumulation, it starts pumping up, and then you get this huge spike. And I'll tell you what I'm looking for. There's a project that I'm looking at right now. Let's see, called Skull Punks. So a fairly cheap entry price, and you can find a similar chart here on OpenSea for each project. But this is the volume I'm talking about. So these light blue lines, this is volume. And when you see these spikes of volume, that are going oftentimes well above this darker blue line, which is the average price, that's something that catches my eye. So we see that the volume went up here, and then we had a small rise and then a small crash, but then boom, we had that pump, right? And then we crashed again. So this is right now we're in this period of accumulation. Okay, we see some volume increasing here, and that's why the price started going up. Now I bought in right around here, right around after it was done crashing, and then I watched for a few days as it started rising up, and then I saw it dip down and come back up a little bit. Now it's dipping down again. So what I'm counting on is to see something similar to this. Okay, so granted, I did buy in a little bit earlier than what I just told you to, right? Because I saw a good entry price and because I knew something that other people didn't know. And that's if you join Discord, their Discord, which is why this is so important. You see their Discord link right here. I joined their Discord and I found out that they are coming out with some new updates on their roadmap this month. So, one thing I found out is that on October, they're going to release babies. So, if you have two of these NFTs, you're going to get a free third one. So you're going to get a free baby version of these particular NFTs within this world, right? And they have a couple other things within their project, but um, I chose this project because I saw this period of accumulation. I saw this spike. Now I'm expecting a second one that's much bigger, and because they have these updates that are coming out at the end of the month, and given that they kind of have Halloweeny vibes, it might be worthwhile having around Halloween. So that's why I got into this particular project, and that's what I'm hoping for. As a matter of fact, just 2, 3 days ago, I got a free one of these, right? So I initially just bought one, right? That's all the ETH that I had. I bought myself one, and then I was in their Discord, and I saw that they were playing a game to win another one. I played the game. I happened to win. I got a free one, and so now I had my initial one that I bought. I got a free one. Now I have two, and like I just told you, when you have two of these, you're able to get a free baby version of these. So now I'm getting 3 NFTs just in time for the pump that I'm expecting at the end of this month. So that could work out, it could not, but that's just my reasoning behind why I got into this particular project. Okay, just want to cover that. That's a little bit about chart analysis. There's a hell of a lot more. And by the way, so this is great, right? CryptoSlam's great, OpenSea is great, but the real power player is Nansen. So I highly recommend that you start a 7-day trial here and you go in here and look at all the charts and all the information they have. Like you can watch smart buyers, so people who have a history of buying into projects that skyrocket. You can watch all these different people. You can look at more detailed charts. There is a hell of a lot that goes into this platform. It's pretty damn expensive, but you can try that trial out. But you can see here, it's about 150 bucks a month. So it's not going to be in everyone's budget, but it is something to consider. Anyways, utility. We talked a little bit about this already for judging new projects because it's also something you want to consider for established projects. What the hell are they doing right now? And this is actually a better time to look for utility because you can see if the team has executed on what they said they would. So check for utility. What are they currently doing with those NFTs? I'll come back to this. What I see already with this project is that they're actually playing games with their NFTs. They're creating this content. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find their Twitter. Oh, here we go. You can see so much user generated content of people who care about what they're doing. So right here, this is one of their holders playing around with the 3D model. Right. So let's check out some more media. So they had a party in Somnium Space with the founder of Somnium Space, mind you. So they had I'm not sure how many people were there, but they had a whole bunch of people in there playing this virtual game, listening to the music, talking with the founder. Really, really cool. So I can see that people are actually using these NFTs, which is great. Someone created a little picture using their NFT. Let's keep scrolling because there's some pretty cool stuff. I want to see if I can show you some gaming. What's this? Okay, that's promo. Okay, here's something. So this is one of those. This is actually the game that they're going to turn into a play to earn game, right? So a 3D battle royale game where you can be shooting. Now, what's really cool is that this company they're partnered with, NFT 2040, they're trying to integrate not just this NFT project, but others. So you can imagine playing with your Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT in this shooter game to earn money, playing against other NFT projects. I think this is a really, really cool concept. So this is why I'm attracted to this particular project and attracted to this company. Someone worth checking out. Very under the radar at the time. So again, all this is still in beta testing right now. So they're working on it, and of course, you're not going to see the graphics of something like Call of Duty, but in time, you absolutely will. So that's one little clip there. Let me show you another one. So this is Grand Theft Auto, right? This is an example of them playing in Grand Theft Auto. So utility, you can actually use the stuff that you're buying. It's not just for the artwork. Anyways, let's focus up. So we talked about utility ownership percentage. That's something that you might want to just keep in your back pocket. I think it is worth considering. But when you see a higher ownership percentage, that's a good thing. So if this was 5K, for example, about 50% ownership, that means 50% of people are actually holding on, or it means 50%, or excuse me, it means that out of everybody who owns it, most people are going to have two of them. So let me clear that up a bit. So if this was 5K exactly, that means all those 5K people have two of these. So when you have too many people, you want to see more ownership percentages, right? So that means unique owners. So if this was only 1,000, for example, that means all those 1,000 people have a hell of a lot of these particular NFTs. I'm not sure I'm explaining that too well, but what you don't want is you don't want a select few people hoarding these NFTs within a project. You want to see a high percentage of ownership. So you want to see 50%. So you want to see 5K. You want to see 8K ownership, right? Because that means that these NFTs are widely dispersed amongst the population. And when you have that, it prevents the possibility of a rug pull. Well, it doesn't prevent it, but it lowers the likelihood. It means that a select few people can't just dump the project and then leave, right? So you want to see these numbers higher. This is okay. It's not the best, but it's halfway decent. You typically want to look for upwards of 40%, but this is decent. Ownership percentage, average sales over the last 60 days. This is a pretty important part. So what you can do, take note of the floor price. So in this case, the floor price, which is just the bare minimum, the lowest buy now price that is available on OpenSea, is 0.08. So I click on activity. I want to look for over the last 90 or 60 days, but I want to look and see what's the 60-day average sale price. So right now I see that it is 0.1135. This is good. I want to be able to see that people are buying above that floor price, because when I do see that, it means that oftentimes people are going in and buying NFTs that they actually like, not just to get into the project at the bare minimum. They're buying NFTs that they actually like, so they're buying in a little bit more expensive than what is actually the bare minimum. So that's something that you want to see. You can even check 7 days. 7 days tells an even better story. So 0.15 compared to the floor price of 0.08 right now. So that's a good sign. Not an end all be all, but just something that you want to consider. Upcoming developments, as I mentioned with this project, Skullpunks, they have their babies coming out on Halloween. So that means they are likely to have a pump. If that launch goes well, if there's enough attention and coverage, if people like it enough, that could signify that there's going to be a pump as people increase the prices and raise that floor price. So you want to look and see what projects have upcoming developments, and where you're going to find that is in their Discord. So let me see if I can find the Skullpunks Discord. Oh, here we go. So Skullpunks, what you want to do is you always want to check announcements. Check announcements and just scroll through the last few days, maybe the last week. So right here, here's what I see. The babies are almost done. So that means they're going to be coming. They're going to tweet about it, which will bring some attention. This is something else that they're doing. Decentraland wearables. So Decentraland is just one of those virtual worlds that you can explore, blockchain based, right? And so they're going to have custom wearables that are going to be NFTs that you can put on your avatar inside this world. That's a plus. It's not too big, but it is something that not too many projects are doing right now. So again, they're going to be free to anybody who has them, has one of the NFTs within the original project. And then they have a little baby trailer right here about what they're going to look like. So these are something that attracted me to it and something you need to be looking for. What is the project actively doing to further it, to continue to execute on the roadmap? So there we have that. Keep an eye out for those upcoming developments. Discord activity, right? So within Discord, you want to check the main chat. Now, the main chat is going to be called something different. It might be called main chat. It might be called lounge. It might be called general a lot of times. So what you want to come in here and do is just take a pulse check of the room. You want to scroll back. You want to see, okay, what are people talking about? And how much are people talking? Do I see people talking right now? The answer is yes. It's 5:01 where I am. It's 5:01 as the latest message that was sent. And I can look back a little bit and see that people are consistently talking throughout the hour. That's not all you want to check. You want to see what the hell are they talking about? Because something that you'll see in projects that is a red flag is when everybody in the Discord is just talking about the floor price. When everybody's worried about how low the floor price is, that's a sign that these people aren't really in the project long term. They're not really here to see it through. They just want to flip. And they're probably just waiting for the floor price to get high enough so they break even or make a little bit of money so that they can sell and get the hell out. So when you see a whole lot of chat focus around the floor price, see all these people freaking out about it because it dips, that's something that you should be hesitant about getting into. So be wary of that floor price talk, but pay attention to what people are talking about and how frequently they are. And check some of these other channels as well. Some Discords are going to have a bot that actually looks at other Discords and tells you how good their conversation is or how frequent their conversation is. So in the Llama Pass Discord, for example, let's scroll to the bottom. We have a bot that reads the most active Discord servers. So within the past 100 messages within this particular Discord channel were sent over the course of an 8-minute period. That's pretty good amongst 20 different people. So chatter rating, I don't know what this is out of. It's probably out of 5 or 10. Cool Cats, last 100 messages were sent over the course of 24 minutes. So this is just something that you can use to kind of gauge to see, hey, where is the conversation at right now? Is there something popping off in these Discords? Because if you see something where it says the last 100 messages were sent in the last 60 seconds, you might want to go check that out. It could just be a bot, but it could also be that something is happening within this project and people are really, really excited. So you can look for bots like that, or you could just manually come in here, check stuff out, see what the hell people are talking about. But again, be wary of that floor price talk if that's all they're talking about, or if that's just an emphasis. And finally, within these established projects, you want to see, are people who are behind the project, are they following through on everything that they said they would? Are they actually executing on the roadmap? And some roadmaps are going to be harder to execute on uh, than others, like this one, for example. Okay, so this does have some hurdles, right? Getting these set up this liquidity pool, which they did, create all these 3D avatars. So there's going to be time periods when you're in these projects where you might be expecting something and it gets delayed and then gets delayed again. But what you really want to be paying attention to is is the team actually keeping you updated with what's happening? Are they telling you the exact roadblock that they've encountered and telling you when they expect to overcome that? But you do want to go through and check those announcements to see where have they actually executed on what they said they were going to do. This channel has a roadmap update where they will tell you, hey, these are the things that we've nailed. These are the things that we have executed on as promised. Now, when you can see that, that's a very good sign. When you can see that this team's project has been executed on the things that they promised, that's a good sign. And if there's more exciting stuff ahead, then it might be worth looking into. So keep that in mind. You want to see, has this project, it's been in existence for a few weeks, maybe a few months, have they done what they said they were going to do? If they haven't, there's a whole lot of resentment and people talking about how they're still waiting on X, Y, and Z. It might be time to look for another project, or at least wait until that project is closer to executing on the roadmap. So now we have gone through where you can find these projects early, how you can get whitelisted for them, a couple shortcuts. I like to go the creative route to kind of shortcut all the effort and work that goes into those a lot of times. By the way, I'm gonna add this little tip. So let's say you want to do something creative, like create a song or create some type of promo video or do some graphic design, and you ain't got no idea how to do it. Maybe you have an idea, but you don't know how to use Photoshop. You don't know how to use Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. That's fine. What you can do is you can go to a website like Fiverr, and y'all should know about this one. I think 19 Keys told you about it for getting transcriptions. But you can come on here, and what you can do is you can find people. Check graphic design. You can find people who will do this stuff for cheap. You give them your idea, you give them some criteria, some media to work with, and they'll just crank that out. You pay them $20, $30, and then you get that graphic. And what you would do is you go in their Discord of that project, and you can say, "Hey, look, I have my graphic designer create this for y'all." You submit that to an art contest, or you submit that to try to get a whitelist spot. So those are something that you can do if you don't have those skills yourself. So just keep that in your back pocket. Don't be scared if you don't have the skill set required to contribute some type of creative element to the project you're trying to get in early on. So we covered that. We talked about judging projects, having some discernment. And again, there's going to be a hell of a lot more that goes into this, but you're going to learn that as you go through this process. So I want to open the floor for any questions. I have my second computer here that I'm looking at. I don't see any questions. There's not too many people in the chat. So I'm going to wrap this up unless I see a question pop up in the next 30 seconds or so. But I'm glad that y'all came through. And for everybody who's watching this on replay, take notes, watch it again. The NFT space is here to stay. Okay, this is not just for fun. This is not just art. This is going to be the future. Every line of business, every product or service can be integrated into the world of NFTs. Right now, it's the Wild West, and those who are wanting to go out and figure out how they can integrate all these lines of businesses into the space are going to be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because I don't see any more questions. I thank you all once again for coming through, and I hope you got something out of it. Let me know in the Discord if you have additional questions or if you just want to say thanks. All right. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great evening. Peace.